Textron's Memorandum of Understanding with the Ukrainian government marks a noteworthy turn in Kiev's pursuit of resilient air power. It couples the prospect of near-term helicopter deliveries with a pathway to assemble and sustain those aircraft inside Ukraine. On its face, the agreement signals readiness to supply AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters and UH-1Y Venom utility platforms. In practice, it gestures towards something more consequential, an attempt to fuse immediate combat utility with industrial recovery, workforce upskilling, and long-run autonomy in maintenance and upgrades. For a military that has relied on a patchwork of legacy Soviet types and urgent Western transfers, the H-1 family promises standardization, interoperability with NATO partners, and a coherent sustainment model at a moment when availability can matter as much as raw performance. The H-1 pairing is deliberately symbiotic. The Viper is purpose-built for precision strike and armed escort. The Venom is a multi-mission hauler for troops, casevac, resupply, and command and control roles. Their roughly 85% parts commonality, encompassing engines, transmission, rotor system, avionics architecture, and cockpit displays, compresses training timelines and simplifies logistics. For Ukraine, this commonality mitigates a core problem of the war. Disparate fleets create bottlenecks in spares, tooling, and technical expertise. A shared parts bin and harmonized avionics reduce downtime, improve sortie generation, and let commanders mix and match airframes without re-engineering sustainment around every mission. In a conflict defined by high consumption rates, rapid repairs, and dispersed operations, that is not a minor advantage. Operational fit will be closely scrutinized. The Viper brings a modern sensor suite, helmet-mounted cueing, and a repertoire of precision munitions that can be adapted to Ukraine's targeting ecosystem. Its survivability package, hardpoints, and two-engine redundancy support low-level tactics that have become common where air defenses are dense and persistent. The Venom's utility profile, troop insertion, sling loads, medevac, maps onto daily military requirements as well as civil defense needs that grow during infrastructure strikes. Together, they enable escorted lifts in contested areas, a tactic that reduces risk to utility platforms while keeping tempo high. The ability to field both types with a single training and maintenance backbone gives planners flexibility to scale tasks without proliferating unique training syllabi or spares inventories. The industrial dimension could be the real hinge. By sketching a framework for local assembly and maintenance, the memorandum hints at a transfer not only of airframes but of know-how, documentation, and quality control practices. If realized, that would anchor a domestic maintenance, repair, and overhaul base capable of absorbing unplanned damage, integrating incremental upgrades, and shortening turnaround times. It would also plant seeds for a broader high-tech mechanical engineering revival, tooling, metrology, test equipment, and the human capital to run them. Ukraine's defense economy has been pulled toward sustainment triage since 2022. A structured relationship around a modern, common platform offers a chance to convert that improvisation into institutional capability. There are, of course, hurdles. The memorandum does not by itself unlock production slots, export approvals, funding lines, or training pipelines. Quantities, configurations, and delivery windows will depend on U.S. government licensing, congressional support, allied funding vehicles, and the manufacturer's capacity amid competing orders. Even if approvals flow, standing up in-country assembly and depot-level maintenance during an ongoing war introduces security risks. Facilities must be dispersed, hardened, and supplied with redundant power and data to withstand strikes. Workforce development also takes time. Technicians trained on Soviet-era platforms will adapt quickly to mechanical systems but will need intensive courses for digital avionics, diagnostics, and software-driven configuration control. Integration with Ukraine's command and control architecture will be another workstream. The H-1 family's sensors and data links will have to mesh with national ISR feeds, targeting cells, and deconfliction procedures that include extensive ground-based air defense and growing counter-UAS networks. The payoff is potentially large. Equipped with modern electro-optical systems and precision rockets, the Viper can perform counter-battery overwatch and counter-UAS missions at standoff ranges, while the Venom can move small groups rapidly between dispersed forward operating sites. When paired with loitering munitions and ground radars, the helicopters could help close kill chains more quickly and with fewer munitions, an important efficiency as partners balance replenishment needs at home with support to Ukraine. Comparison with other options is instructive. Ukraine already flies assorted Me 8/17 and Me 24/35 variants, plus Western types like Black Hawks donated or acquired through intermediaries. The Apache AH-64 often appears in public debate but is heavier, more complex, and more demanding to sustain, a misfit for an operator trying to stabilize costs and training while expanding sortie rates. Light utility helicopters like the H-145M are agile and increasingly capable with guided rockets but lack the Viper's punch. The H-1 proposition threads the middle, a credible attack capability tied to a utility platform with near-identical systems, both optimized for expeditionary sustainment and quick reconstitution. For a military that needs to add capacity without multiplying maintenance lines, that balance is attractive. Cost and survivability calculus will shape procurement choices. The unit cost of new-build H-1s, the availability of used or remanufactured airframes, and the scope of any government-to-government financing will affect fleet size and pacing. Survivability in the face of layered Russian air defenses depends as much on tactics as on hardware. Map of the Earth profiles, deception, decoys, EW support, and careful route planning are essential. The Viper's modern warning receivers and countermeasures improve odds, but doctrine must assume attrition and plan for rapid replacement of sub-assemblies. This is where domestic MRO capacity becomes a warfighting variable rather than a back-office function. The faster airframes can be inspected, repaired, and returned to service, the more sustainable helicopter operations become under fire. Training will need to scale in parallel. Pilots transitioning from legacy types must absorb new avionics workflows, weapons employment envelopes, and multi-ship tactics that exploit the Viper Venom team. Crew chiefs and maintainers will require tiered qualifications from line maintenance to depot-level tasks, with embedded instructors to propagate skills. Simulators and part task trainers can accelerate this process while conserving flight hours and airframe fatigue life. An early investment in synthetic training environments and standardized technical curricula will pay out in lower mishap rates and a quicker rise to operational proficiency. Politically, the partnership would deepen Ukrainian defense industrial ties and signal confidence in Ukraine's ability to house sensitive manufacturing and sustainment activities despite ongoing attacks. That carries deterrent messaging, but it also sets precedents. If local assembly and maintenance succeed for the H-1 family, other programs, uncrewed systems, air defense components, armored vehicles, could follow, each adding layers to industrial resilience. The risks are real, facilities and supply chains will be targeted. Yet a distributed, redundant model featuring smaller sites, mobile tooling, and modular spares stocks could make the network harder to disrupt, while giving Ukraine a post-war foundation for regional MRO services that align with NATO standards. Ultimately, the memorandum is neither a victory lap nor a mere press release. It is a fork in the road between episodic transfers and a capability spiral that compounds over time. If Kyiv and its partners move from MU to firm orders, tie funding to training and facilities, and harden the sustainment base against attack, Ukraine could field a rotary-wing fleet that is both more capable in the near term and less fragile in the long term. The essence of the H-1 offer is not just two airframes with solid pedigrees, it is a logistics concept, a training architecture, and an industrial compact aimed at high availability under pressure. In a war where persistence counts, that may prove decisive.